What's going on, everybody? Give it a couple minutes to let everybody in here. If you guys can put where you're from and biggest problem you're facing in the chat, that would be awesome.
Oh, seeing a lot of familiar faces here.
Vancouver, BC.
Hello, friends. I'm driving, so I'll be just listening. I'm so sorry not being on the camera, but I'm in the car.
No
Thank you
problem.
for understanding.
If we could get everybody to mute themselves too, that would be awesome.
Good to see you, Matus. Welcome. Seeing some familiar faces, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. What we got planned. So get ready to take some notes. It's going to be interactive, and we got a bit of a slide deck to run through. So yeah, blow up that chat. Where are you guys from?
Let's go. Good to have everybody in here.
Cool. We got a full house with 40 people, so we can get rocking. So Landon, let me go ahead. I'll pull up our slides, and we can get this party rolling here.
Yeah. So guys, welcome to Scaling Blueprint here. Stay tuned to the end. We got some special bonuses as well. But we first want to dive into kind of the why, who we are at HSBC. Obviously, some of you know us, some of you don't. But yeah, Dave, like if we want to hit the next slide. And for those that don't know, they hear a coaching program, there's skepticism, right? And rightfully so. And that's where we kind of want to touch on this, like kind of you see the marketing, the podcast, all these different things. But Dave, do you want to take us away, man? Like, who is HSBC?
Yeah, absolutely. So we figured, guys, we'd start where we started, start at the beginning, and then we'll show you what we got planned for everyone today. So yeah, we started in 2020, so we're 4 years in now, and actually HSBC was born out of just me getting DMs on Facebook and Instagram. I was sharing some stuff. I was creating some content around Revive. People were messaging me saying, "Hey, can I get that sign template? Can I get that SOP for this? How did you hire people?" And so it kind of got my gears turning for there's a serious need in the marketplace for skilled trades business owners that are really good at like doing the stuff on the job site, as you all are on this call, but like there's a huge gap when it comes to business knowledge. And so I ran a search on GoDaddy at the time, homeservicebusinesscoach.com. It was not taken. So bought the domain, created a nice logo you're seeing behind me. And just like that, how you guys started your business was started with a bit of a dream and a hope for a brighter future. And quite honestly, like it's grown, it's exceeded my expectations and our whole team. Just going off the slide here, we're coming up on 300 businesses that we've been able to now coach, 260 plus formally in our coaching program. And honestly, like thousands of others around the world through our podcast, YouTube channel, and all the content pieces we put out on a weekly basis. But I think I'm most proud of this being an actual coaching program that gets results. And we'll get into that in just a couple minutes. But we've added now over 30 million in additional revenue to our clients' businesses, which again, that's why we're still 4 years in business. We've got a great reputation is because our members have been able to grow their businesses. And one way that we're unique, you'll hear from our head coach in a second, Jackson. All of our coaches, we're sticklers on this. All of our coaches have to currently own their own home service business. So this isn't, we had a 10K month and we're now teaching it as gurus. Like we're in the trenches with you guys on the weekly basis, running our own teams in our trades business, and we're teaching the stuff that's working in real time. And we just put here our goal, and I'll give it back to Landon. Our goal is to help 10,000 business owners. So huge goal for this business, but also we're serving a massive marketplace. And so everyone coming onto the webinar today, we're able to drive value to you. We're going to show you what we've recently built, which I think will be pretty amazing. And I want everyone to see us slingshotting out years in the future, how big of a brand we're building and how many lives we want to change. So Landon, how's that for kind of a background?
Pretty good, man. You nailed it. And you know, all of our coaches were former clients as well. It's something I want to touch on, which means I want to pass it to Jackson. Like Jackson, you were a client, Mount Baker Window Cleaning, been featured on Upflip, partner with Jobber. Why are you still with us, man? Like you've coached over 100 guys. Why are you still with HSBC, man? I'd love to hear it.
The reason I'm still here is because I really believe in it. And I mean, firsthand saw what it was able to do for not only my business, but my life. Prior to HSBC, I was running around doing everything in my business, and I just really didn't see an end to that in sight. And so in hiring HSBC, we started working on building systems for Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company, and then developing a team, which was my ticket to freedom. I saw that getting a team in place with, you know, competent managers, I could really, I mean, our business was operating at a higher capacity, right? Because now it wasn't me splitting all these tasks. There were specialists in those different departments that were fully taking care of every responsibility in there. So they had less things on their mind other than what was directly in their funnel. So we started operating at a higher capacity. And then because they were in place, well, now I don't need to be there anymore. And I can just focus on growing the business. And so that just put me in such a good place for my own personal life as well, because now I can go hit the golf course. I can go take snowboarding trips or go mountain biking. You know, in a couple of weeks here, I'll be heading to Quebec and then Nashville to the Huge Convention. And I wouldn't be able to find that time away unless we got that team in place and developed those systems. And I would not have been able to make those moves or had really the confidence to make those moves without HSBC there. And so that's why I'm still here. Yeah. I want to tell people, you know, I want to give people the route that I was given, and show folks, you know, how it can be done and how your life can, not only your business, but your life can really change like quite drastically with just making a few tweaks here and there. And then obviously some hard work as well. But, you know, it just takes a lot of confidence and just knowing the right move to make. Yeah,
I love that, Jackson. And I guess this kind of brings us to our next slide of like, who are we and why trust us? So I just want to touch on this. We've helped our clients add 1,000 employees. I could go run through this, but there's, like I said, there's a lot of skepticism in coaching, right? Like Dave, Jackson, you know, we're seeing members on here as well too. A lot of skepticism with coaching, right? And I guess this kind of goes to like, you're seeing this, that's great. But as we mentioned before, all of our coaches were former clients. So that's going to be big thing number one. Number two, on the front end, we are invite only. We have a very, very, very high bar to entry because we're in this for the long haul. We're not in this to make a quick buck. And, you know, we've had guys like Dave, how many guys in Jackson last year at the Huge coming up to us. You're like, hey, thank you for your help.
Yeah.
And it's that type of different stuff. And that kind of leads to the fulfillment, right? Like when a member succeeds, the team behind the scenes is buzzing. So that's what I would say. Anything to add on that, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that everyone understands, like, there's a reason that Revive, my service business, was not franchised. It's because I went through the process in 2020 to say, hey, are we going to go across Canada, the US, and franchise this business? And it would have been fine. I chose the different route though, because I came from the franchising world and said, hey, what if we actually licensed out our intellectual property? And when someone signs up at HSBC, we literally structure out a business in a box, and we'll get to that in a sec. But I'm such more of a proponent that, you know, you guys don't stick around and keep paying royalties if you're not getting value, but you actually partner with us. We'll set your business up for success. If you want to stay with us, fantastic. If you want to move on, that's great as well. So I just wanted to highlight kind of that key point too, Landon, because we get it every week. Like, you know, why did you not franchise Revive? But HSBC is kind of born out of that decision. One thing I wanted to track back on though and put Jackson on the spot. Jackson, like it wasn't cheap for you to join HSBC, and you were one of our earlier clients working direct with me. How many years, man, do you think you saved? Because I was listening to Hermosi this week, and he said you either pay whatever a program is, you either pay $10,000 now, or you pay with 5 years of your life. So either way, you have to pay. I'm just curious, man, like how many years or seasons do you think you were able to like shortcut to build your business? And then we'll give back to Landon.
Oh, I would say probably 3 to 5, but then also there's the option of maybe I never got there, you know, which is really scary to think. What if I never made it to this point? And it's so true. Like maybe I didn't with the right push. So saved me a ton. And yeah, the program was definitely more back then, but the ROI that I got from it, first off, I can use it forever. So that's priceless. And then secondly, if you actually want to look at it, you know, in the dollars I put in and the dollars I got back, it is far better than any marketing that you're going to find. So pretty awesome what we're able to do for people here and what you guys were able to do for me, you know, a few years back.
Yeah, I think too, man, to highlight, guys, like Jackson took the resources and he's also went and started other brands as well, right? We don't have to get into that now, but like once you have the blueprint, that's why we called this scaling blueprint. Like once you know how to do it, you can go do it for other brands, either in home services or other related businesses.
Yeah, and that kind of leads us to like the problems, like why HSBC even exists, right? And it's like, what is scaling blueprint? We'll touch on that in a second. But like I've spoken to thousands of home service business owners at this point. It usually boils down to one of these three things. Lead generation. We're relying too much on expensive paid advertising. We don't know how to market in person, so on and so forth. Number two, finding A+ employees. Like if you have to hire, if it takes you 12 to 18 months to find that one great person to change your business, that's going to cost you a lot of money, not to mention a lot of stress. And number three is just management, like business management. That's from your finances to your office, to your scheduling, and kind of everything in between. So what I want you to do now is we'll get interactive here. Put a 1 in the chat if leads are your issue. 2, if finding A+ employees or rock stars, as we've said before, is the issue. Or 3, if management is the issue. And for those, don't be afraid. You can put all 3. Nobody's going to sit here and judge you. But this is like why we do what we do. These are kind of the big 3. And on this, I always like to say this on our calls, maybe you've heard this before. We just want to give you the choice you currently do not have. That choice of time freedom, of profits, of finances, whatever it is. And these 3 things are holding you back. Now, you're probably going to figure it out, but it might take you 3 to 5 years to kind of finish or figure it out, I guess you will. And Dave, like, we're seeing 1, 2. We're seeing 1, 2. Okay, you know what? Leads and hiring. Let's really rip on this. Dave, how about you take lead generation and Jackson hiring? How does that sound?
Sure. Yeah, we'll just park here, guys. Go ahead, Landon.
Yeah. No, sorry. I just wanna frame this. I'm grabbing pen and paper. This is where pen's gonna meet the paper, everybody. So grab your pen and paper. We got some fire coming.
Let's do it. So guys, we wanted to camp here for a few minutes and just really drive some value in today's webinar, because after working with all the companies we have all over North America, Australia, everything routes back to these big 3 problems. And I just scanned the chat a minute ago. It's cool to see the different problems that are very common in trades businesses, largely like under $1 million, where you start hitting 1, 2, 300 grand, and then things start getting a little bit messy. So I'll tackle lead gen, and then I'll dish it to Jackson to get into the people department. So, you know, I ran some numbers in prepping for this in creating my brand Revive. I started it with $3,000. You guys have seen that picture of me, Ryobi pressure washer, don't judge me, and Astro minivan, right? So in the course of the last 7 years, I've put 240 grand to market the business. And we've booked now over 3.6 million in closed booked deals. And so that works out to about 6-ish% of our overall revenue went into marketing, and very little amount of that actually went into paid ads. And so what we work with members in Scaling Blueprint initially is, let's dial in their organic marketing. I bet we could put anyone up here on this Zoom call and actually deep dive what they're currently doing for organic marketing and large holes that they're actually missing. What I've been able to do in my cleaning business is we've built a beautiful business in effectively 30 to 40 neighborhoods that we're able to actually drive really good, what's called market share, which is where you hit a road that has 24 houses and, you know, Revive's done 11 to 15 of them. That level of like market share is what I'm talking about. And that comes down to all organic marketing and how do you actually position your brand where clients know about you. And it's just a matter of when they're going to be contacting you. Second point of this, we can teach you guys organic lead gen all we want. It's not going to help until you actually get really savvy with in-person selling. And we have a number of assets we can talk about in a few minutes that are really handy in the in-person sales process, in-home services. And that's a really important one that we don't want to miss because, you know, in today's day and age, 2024 moving into 2025, your sales department is almost inevitable if your marketing is done properly, and they work very much in tandem in a trades business. And the last thing is is branding. I'm sorry. So if you look at branding in trades, you look at Revive, you look at Mount Baker, if you're able to actually brand your business effectively, that's a massive leg up in marketing when you look at who you're competing against. And consumers will actually want to do business with brands that they know, like, and trust. And so most members that come to us, we're giving you homework in your first month with us saying, no disrespect, Scott, your brand, I would give it like 3 out of 10. Change the logo. You might want to look at changing your name, and your website is crap as well. So, you know, we're not going to tell you how great you're doing. You're coming to us because this is a hospital, not a country club. And we want to do a 180 with a lot of your brands. So I'll just pass it to Jackson there. We'll talk about people, but like, I'd really get you guys to look at your businesses and say, what are you actually doing for low-hanging fruit when it comes to marketing? And how can we get leads that are quality without breaking the bank?
Yeah, and sorry, Jackson, I just want to chime in because it's such a good point, Dave. And again, it kind of comes down to the goal of HSBC. Yeah, I'll speak HSBC till I'm blue in the face, but also your guys' business. If we're at a short term of let's just make as much money as we possibly can, again, super common coaching stigma, it's because you're going to run the Facebook ads and you're just going to not have the proper website. You're not going to do the boots on the ground marketing. And again, you're not going to be consistent with that, right? You're not going to charge right. You're not going to care about putting systems in place. Like, we're not talking to those people that are like, I'm here for a couple of seasons to dip and I'm gone. We're talking to those of like, hey, I want to build a brand that I can pass to my kids if I choose, or sell it as a sellable asset, or I want to set this sucker up. Home services is great, but maybe it's not my end all be all. Maybe you want to get into real estate or open up another business, right? I just want to start cash flowing this business. Really, like, I think it's so underutilized, leaning on expensive ads instead of building a brand. Because Dave Jackson, I mean, it's just going to take longer. But at the end of the day, when I was with Revive, I show up, they've seen an ad, they've seen a flyer, they've seen the truck, they've talked to somebody in, you know, Katrina at the time in the office. Like, by the time I got there, it was 80% complete versus I have a sales problem. It's like, we all do in theory, but you can do so many different things to help the organic marketing, the in-person selling it. So if I could say nothing, if you're building a business for the long term, your brand is going to be your biggest asset, from your GMB to your people to the actual structure of the business. So sorry, Jackson, I just wanted to chime in on that.
No, it's some great value there. I appreciate it, Landon. Yeah, I'll hop into it. I don't have much time before I actually have to get on a call with some of our current members. for an hour-long coaching call, but let's just go over number 2. So you're not going anywhere if you don't have people, right? So my business, Mount Baker Window Cleaning, is not functioning if I don't have employees. You go back a couple years, well, we weren't going to grow if we didn't have home service business coach there to help. So you're not going anywhere by yourself. So just know that. When you start to delegate, that's when things become fun. So where do we find people, right? That's a big issue that folks have. I see a lot of people looking or posting job ads, and they're casting a really wide net. They don't really know who their avatar employee is going to be. So what does that look like? How old are they? What do they like to do? What are some of their core values? We need to make an avatar employee and start hunting for them instead of casting a wide net over your city. Because if you have a generic job ad, you're just going to get generic people. And a few years back, I decided this is exactly the type of person I want at my company. How do I make a job ad that appeals to just them? So maybe I'm getting less applications in, but the ones I'm getting are really, really good, and they've got a really high chance of getting hired. Number 2, what does your training program look like? And I know if you go 3 years back, I didn't really have much of one. And I was under the impression that all of my employees were just really bad at their job, or they just weren't good hires. And, it's the old saying, there's no one good in my area. And that just was not true. It just turns out that I wasn't giving them the tools and resources that they need to succeed. And then number 3, managing. Like, what does your management look like? Are you a good leader, or are you just a boss to them? And then I think really to put a wrap on things here is one thing that you guys need to know is no one's waking up out of bed in the morning and they're just excited to go mow lawns or wash windows or power wash driveways. People aren't loyal to your home service because, quite honestly, it's not sexy. What we do is not a sexy thing. What people are loyal to are good leaders. They're loyal to goals, they're loyal to development, and they're loyal to culture. So how can you build those aspects of your business to make it appealing to a rock star on the outside? Because like I said, I'm not jumping out of bed to go clean windows. I wasn't 3 years ago. I'm definitely not today. And so why should anyone else be? What is attractive to your business? And let's build that for the right person, for that avatar employee.
Yeah, absolutely, Jackson. And I think to sum up your point so well, I hear this so often, employees I can trust. And you know what I mean? That comes with culture, your brand, and everything you were saying. So good with that. Anything else, Dave? I mean,
I was gonna joke we should get Jackson to coach. That was just a great soundbite, and I see guys taking notes, which I love. The only thing I'd add is I think, guys, if you look at Jackson's business and anyone that's grown through our program, you're probably only 1 to 2 hires away from significantly changing your business. So most companies we work with, we plug in an office manager for them. They hire 1, 2, maybe 3 technicians, sometimes more. But it's not like we're teaching you guys, you have to go hire 8 people and become Mount Baker Revive overnight. It's like going to the gym and getting a bit more in shape. You got to get your reps in. And I think a lot of you leveling up your confidence and just learning what a real A+ employee looks like. Jackson's learned that, so have I. And that's what we want to help train you guys in your business. Because birds of a feather flock together. So if Jackson's a crappy leader, he's going to attract some pretty crappy employees. And not to call anyone out, but that's just what we see in trades. Owners usually don't know how to run a business, so they attract the lowest level talent. And we're here to help change that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we should probably talk about really briefly kind of how we go about solving these problems for those that don't know. And I'm not going to go too in depth here because that's something we can do on a call. Like I said, for those that have been with us, very, very high bar to entry, as you know that. Do we like each other? And can we help you out? But what's included in Scaling Blueprint? I'll start with this. We need 2 to 4 hours of your time per week. And what I like to say is, I'll use that in gym analogy, Dave. You're working out, you're 3 months in, you're kind of doing your thing, right? So, and that's kind of what it is. What the video training, the systems, and more on the Quick Connect systems later, the weekly coaching call, the one-to-ones, the community, all this stuff we're going to touch on here in a second. It's like if those who know Ronnie Coleman, right, the old school bodybuilder, You right now are figuring everything out on your own. You're lifting the weights, but your form's off, your eating's so, your sleep's whatever, your supplements are just off, right? It's when you come on board with HSBC with these 4 pillars, again, there's 7 listed here, but they're pretty much breaking into 4 big ones. It's like you're training with Ronnie Coleman. Your sleep is 100% on point, your diet, your training, and maybe even a little bit of the secret sauce, if you know what I mean, right? And with this, and we'll touch on video training, you're going to learn new stuff, guys. Like, again, we can touch on this more if we talk one-to-one, but it's not so much like you're just going to learn all this new information. Here's the kicker. We're going to remind you and then hold you. You better believe we're going to hold you accountable until it gets done. And there's a whole host of things. The new guys are experiencing this, or the guys that are coming in are experiencing this in real time. The new accountability we're starting to add even more so. But it's like, hey, you said you were going to do this. What's going on here, right? And it's to remind you, and then for those taking notes, to look back on the notes to implement it. So video training, our quick connect systems, we'll touch on that later. Step 3 is going to be systems. So, or tools, as we like to call them, to grow your business. 4, monthly one-to-one with your coach. The people that are current clients with us, you can attest to that. We're very blessed with just a phenomenal coaching team that genuinely cares about the progress you guys make. That breaks us into the weekly coaching calls, the weekly teaching call, and as well too. And again, maybe if those of you in here have been with us for any amount of time, the community, it's so undervalued. And I know that we have a great story, but I think Dave does as well. But with all these things, right, we need 2 to 4 hours of your time per week. The 4 pillars: video training, systems, weekly coaching call, one-to-ones. That's what you need to remember. I was reaching out, and I want to tell you a story, and then I'm going to shut it. I was messaging a client of ours. Jeff, what's going on, man? Just wanted to touch base and see how he was doing. He was about 6 months in, I think, at this point. And he was like, I'm in Italy. And I said, yeah, Jeff, I'm going to Italy. What the heck? You didn't tell us, firstly. Secondly, you got any recommendations? So, and naturally, I'm like, how's the business? And he said, I couldn't imagine doing this before joining, but there was a couple fires, the team and the tools, team and systems solved it. And it's like, that is what is possible for those that, hey, this bar's here. If that bar's met, and if it makes sense, is possible. That's kind of the level of conviction. And I know, like, I joke about this, Dave. Like, we're not, just like we told you to build a brand for the long term. If we wanted to make a quick buck, we wouldn't care. Like, we wouldn't be around after 4 years. We wouldn't have the partnerships going on. We would not have people that have been with us 6, 12 plus months in the chat right here. We wouldn't have asked them to say, hey, this is available. They've seen the emails. We would have hit everything because we're like, let's keep that on the back end because we don't want them to say nothing. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's the point. So I'll let you take it over, Dave, but see, I can get passionate. And I apologize, everybody. I can get passionate.
We both can. And for everyone, in like 2-3 minutes, we're going to show you guys a few bonuses we've included and like what to do next. But I'd also just open it up for everyone. If we've got a couple minutes at the end, I know we got you to put 1, 2, 3. If there's a brave soul that wants to type out a question or two, just let her rip in the chat, because we'll watch how we're doing with the clock. But if Landon wants to put me on, I know Jackson had to kick off, but if Landon wants to put me on to solve a question or two in real time, happy if we've got the time to rip that. But the biggest thing, guys, I wanted to get after is, I think Home Service Business Coach, it follows a model really of prioritizing your freedom, particularly when it pertains to your time. I've been doing this 16 years. There's very few Sundays on one hand I can count that I've worked. Even evenings, to be honest, I've built all my companies not really working in the evening. So like, really, we're going to work with you to put parameters on your time. We're actually talking about that on my coaching call today. And I don't really believe in either or in life. I believe in and. I think you can win on the home front, be a great spouse, be a great father, stay in shape, make time to go golfing, hunting, fishing, whatever you do, and have a great business, have multiple businesses. I think you can do it all in this life, so long as you get really structured with your calendar. So that's one thing we're really going to help you with. One of our members on my call, Michael, said it's the first time he'd been home for family dinners, and he was cooking at 5:30 and the family couldn't believe it. So it's just like hearing those wins from our members is why Lan and Jackson, our whole team, keep doing what we're doing. Of course, we want to grow. We want to help 10,000 people, but seeing those stories is almost like dopamine for us. It like fuels our fire to keep going. Because like any business, there's going to be difficulties, but we want to make sure that our members are winning. Of course, with their income, everyone needs to get paid. We want a profitable business. We're dealing with cost of living, inflation, all of that. Absolutely. But I don't want to glaze past the time component, and building something like you saw with Jackson that can run without you. So just wanted to make that point. But Landon, I'm sure everyone's itching here for a couple bonuses. If you think we're ready to advance the slide.
I think so, man. I think so. Let's
All right,
do it.
I'll let you take it away. Just tell us what we bundled up
Yeah.
here, $8,500 of extra value.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big things, and I saw Jamie, good to see you, Jamie. One of the big things, Foundations Scaling Blueprint, what are the big differences, right? We can touch on that more on a phone call. We can get you the details. We've pretty much run over them. The big things, and this is one of them, are quick connect systems. So what we're going to do is we're going to take your topmost 20 important systems and we're going to build them for you. Right to Dave's point, time saving. But then there's a lot of money saving as well too there. About $4,000. We'll waive it. Don't worry about it. Number two, HSBC Summit recordings. We have been super strict. We have not released any of this to the public through marketing, anything like that. Maybe you've seen some screenshots, but we'll include that in there as well for you. That's about a $3,000 value. 20, and just to put this in perspective, 27 people had to fly out, hotel, transport to get access to what you're going to get for free, even though it's $3,000 value, plus the special promo rate. So, which again, that promo rate, 20% off, is going to end Tuesday, August 6th. So to answer your question, Jamie, we've added a whole bunch of accountability, communicational software, tracking, backend, but as well too, quick connect systems, summit recordings, and as well too is a pretty sweet promotional rate as well. But Tuesday, August 6th. So maybe next slide, Dave, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. How do we get started? How do I inquire? Two ways. Number one, SB in the chat. Okay, if we do not hear SB, if I do not see SB, we're on a call, nothing's mentioned. I don't see you, you don't mention nothing. We don't know you came, promo's not available. So SB in the chat, or if you want, this is right here, 778-697-8961. Personal number, my mom, my girlfriend, Dave, this is my personal number. They all got it. Text SB, we'll hop on a quick phone call, and this is the biggest kicker. High bar. If it makes sense to move forward, amazing. If it does not, we'll probably leave you better off than when we found you. Because again, it is not for anybody. The top 10%. So,
and guys, just to jump in and share like transparently, Landon was on a call this last week and called me to discuss a potential member coming in, and he was willing to, he had the money to pay, and we decided, no, it's not the best fit for a couple of reasons, because that's the culture we're building at HSBC. High bar, world-class coaching program. Keep your money if we don't think you're going to be a good fit, because not everyone in this world is coachable. And we've worked with enough members now to know what's our ideal profile we're looking for. What does that entrepreneur look like? How do they talk? How do they behave? What questions do they ask? How are they showing up? Because this is, I just want to make sure, like, this is not a magic bullet that you guys pay and you kick your feet up. This is for, like, the whole webinar here is for the top 10% of people that come on. They're ambitious and they say, man, I think I could actually save some time here, getting plugged right in to not just general coaching resources. I did a business degree. I did 37 business classes. I get what general marketing advice is, but extrapolated for the home service industry. That's what we've built. And it's my passion. We have not one of the best, we have the best coaching program because we're not teaching technical, how to turn a wrench, how to clean a window. You don't want to see me clean my own windows. I'm not teaching that, but I'm going to teach you how to run a badass business that can run without you. And we've done it so many times. So yeah, if you feel that conviction, text SB to Landon, put it in the chat. That is his personal number. I think this is a great offer for what our marketplace needs. And for the right people that Landon qualifies and you're a good fit, be fun to see inside my community.
Yeah. And Adrian, good to hear from you. Obviously, I'm preoccupied right now. I'll be in touch with you. We got, I guess, a couple minutes for questions. So just want to, I guess, pass the torch to you guys. Like, maybe if we jump back to the big three, maybe, or something like that. Like for all those people that put into the chat 1, 2, 3 leads, hire or A players or management, throw a question and we'll try and cover it. Again, we're a little bit over time actually, but we want to just, again, lead with value. If you're brave enough, throw a question down there and we'll be sure to answer it. So, but I hope you guys found value and any of the gals on here. I hope everybody found value in here. Cause yeah, it's our child almost. It's a baby. It's the pride and joy. We work so hard every single day. The amount of voice messages I get when I wake up from Dave on a pretty daily basis of how do we make this thing better? How do we get people even better results? How, I heard this, how, like it's just never ending in Kaizen, I think, constant, never ending improvement. So if a brave soul has a question, otherwise that's it from us.
We'll hang on. We'll hang on. Landon will fish out a question, put me on the spot. And I'll just say one last thing to Landon's point, guys. I think sometimes in coaching, you see very, marketing driven entrepreneurs, and that's fine. And they can, bring a ton of people in the program. But I would actually classify myself as like a product driven entrepreneur, someone that wakes up early and actually wants to more obsess about what's going on the back end. What results are we getting? How happy are people? So I just wanted to make kind of that point because you will kind of see both sides.
Yeah, I think this is a great one, Adrian. What is the best way you found to empower your employees and assure them they're appreciated? And he put in another reply, compensation wise, training, etc.
Sweet. I'll put him on the spot, Adrian.
Yeah.
Are we talking an office employee or are we talking a technician? Because that will tailor kind of my response. So just give him a minute to reply. I think that's a really insightful question. And thanks for being bold among a bunch of people here. Let's see if we got a reply here from Adrian. A technician. Okay, cool. So a couple things we can do. Number one, I would say regardless of industry, you definitely want to be compensating for Google reviews, okay? For us with our team, and this has been some Kaizen we've done this year, $10 for every technician, whoever's on the job site for any Google review. Even if it's a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, we pay that out. Here's the kicker. If their name gets mentioned, we double that to $20, okay? For our team members, that's basically a free hour of work just for getting their name tossed on a Google review. So you're going to create technicians that are a little more hungry to go out of their way and tell Mr. or Mrs. Jones, hey, if you don't mind, you'll get a link texted to you. If you don't mind just mentioning my name, I'm Conrad, I'm the crew leader, and you can mention my name. Boom, just doubled their Google review pay. So that's another one. 2, I'll tell you some of the best advice my mentor ever gave me, and I think this applies perfectly to trades. Go on Craigslist, go on Indeed, actually see what a technician's making. Let's say for the painters on the call, you've got a painter that in your area on Indeed, they're up for say $24 an hour. If I'm competing with that, I would make my job ad tonight and say $27 an hour plus bonuses. If you actually pay people 10 to 15% higher than the industry average, you will always get better people. So for example, we'll flip to the office for Adrian. Our going rate for office administrators in our area is about $21 to $22 per hour. My office administrator, $25 an hour. I'm paying the premium because I want the best people. And a little, not to go land in two, sidestep into real estate. If you guys want to get good tenants, look at market value, drop it 10%. You'll get way more people and you can have your pick of who you want. So it's just the opposite in hiring. So, Adrian, I think tech's paying a strong base that's above industry average. You pay for the Google reviews. And the last thing I'll say, man, is the biggest thing is just kind of golden rule, right? Pretend that you were in the field. What kind of a boss would you want to work for? I could give the answer, man. In 2 weeks, I'm taking everyone to an indoor driving range, pizza, drinks, whatever. Like that stuff's all good, but that's more of like a tactic. The biggest thing I want to change is how you think about who you're hiring and work backwards to design the role as if you were going to work every day. What kind of boss would you want to work for? Because one of my favorite quotes in HR, people don't quit companies, they quit managers. So why have my techs been with me 5 years, 6 years, and beyond? Is because I think I'm a pretty decent manager. I think I take care of people and do my absolute best to be fair, but I try and lead to be the type of leader I would want to work for. So that is really, I think, kind of easy to do in home services because most trades business owners look at their technicians like, oh, they're just the grunt workers. We're like, man, our technicians are freaking heroes. They're the superheroes that go out every day and make the money. And we pump them up like no other. So, I wish I had an hour here, Adrian, because I can just get going on topics, but just a few gold nuggets, those of you that stuck around to the end. I just want you guys to kind of see the quality of content here that you'd be stepping into at HSBC.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, like we got 2 minutes. Ricky, Maxim, I know you guys have some questions, but we're 13 minutes over time than what we promised. So whoops. Well, I guess we're under promising and over delivering again. That was really bad. Anyways, any final thoughts, Dave? That was bad. Any final thoughts?
I thought the joke was good, man. Some humor is good. I think just the big thing, guys, is really thanking everyone for coming on today. We wanted to show you what we've built, and I think it exists for the action takers on this call. And those of you that wanted to just listen in and you're like, hey, this program looks legit, I'm going to kind of wait, that's all good too. I just want to let you guys know we are here for the action takers when you're ready. And hopefully we were able to, deliver some value, hit a few key points. But I think the biggest thing to leave everyone with is the business does not get built overnight. And this is not us saying, come into our weekend course and you'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars back to your business. Like if you look at our members winning, like Jackson, he put in a lot of work and he was calling me, messaging me for almost 2 years. And I was like his mentor helping grow his business. And that's like really the winning recipe is when you take like a multiple season approach to growing a trades business. Because there's a lot of difficulties in scaling. And just to kind of let the elephant out of the room for everyone, it does take multiple seasons to build something great. But the beautiful thing is, Landon, that's when something becomes sustainable and sticks around for the test of time. So, if you're looking for that blueprint to build a solid foundation, build a skyscraper, not a sandcastle, this would be the program to do it.
Yep. 7-7. And guys, just thanks everybody. I'm going to drop my number again in the chat here. This is probably the most effective way. 8961. iMessage as well too. We'll keep that up. Other than that, everybody, greatly appreciate your time. It's a labor of love putting these things on, and look forward to speaking with you. And hope everybody's years is doing well or going well before the huge. And I'm sure we'll shake hands.
Thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.